Hello, everyone. In the last 2 quarters, only 35% of all submitted projects have made it in on time. This may not be a huge problem right now, but if we leave this unchecked, it could become a huge problem down the road. To begin tackling this, we need to first recognize that we have and define our problem. Then we will identify the proper solution to handle this situation. So the first step in solving any problem is admitting you have a problem and beginning to understand it. So recently, we've doubled the number of employees in our company and also added an out-of-state location. Since then, the number of missed deadlines has increased greatly. Went and spoke to some employees, and one woman in particular said the last 3 projects she was asked to take on, she was not given very clear direction and therefore missed her deadlines. And that sentiment has been echoed across many employees that I've spoken with. This issue may not be a big deal to one individual, but when multiple employees are having the same problem, that becomes a bigger problem for the company as a whole. Of the 65% that missed their deadlines, more than half of those were due to being sent back for corrections. So, for whatever reason, the work that they were putting in was not what the supervisors were expecting. And that leads to missed deadlines. We did an employee survey after we started digging for information, and 90% of employees state that something just as simple as a standardized guideline or template could help them get their projects done and in on time. So all this information we've gathered is pretty useless unless we actually do something about it. So we got some groups together, did some brainstorming, some problem solving, figured out what our problem was and what the best course of action we thought was to go forward. We came up with creating some templates and guidelines for all of our project types so that there is no question about what is expected from these employees that are putting these projects together, and that allows us to hold them accountable as well as their supervisors for making those deadlines and making the projects as accurate as possible. We chose this course of action because it was the lowest cost and highest impact, which is a great business model no matter how you look at it. So when you have a low cost of resources and you get the highest payout, that's what we were looking for. And this one managed to, what we thought will solve all the parts of our problem with a small solution. We will begin. We also did some research, and some other companies have done some of the same things, and have had an average of 28% increase in productivity and accuracy of their products just by standardizing their processes with some templates and guidelines. We're going to begin this implementation immediately. We're going to get some teams together to start working on putting together templates for all our projects, and then we'll have our expert analyst review all these submittals. They will either approve them or send them back for some minor corrections, and then once those are all approved, we will disseminate that through the whole company and ensure everyone is on the same page moving forward, and we can hold everyone accountable for these products going in on time. The way we're going to make sure that this implementation is actually effective is we're going to watch these metrics, make sure the number of missed deadlines goes down as well as the number of corrections having to be made goes down. We're looking at a goal of 40% reduction in missed deadlines, as well as a 30% reduction in corrections needing to be made to these projects. I believe these results are easily attainable with very little expended resources. We're looking to take about 2 weeks to implement this from start to finish. So we've discussed our problem of lack of direction and lack of expectations, and then we've discussed our plan forward with creating some templates and disseminating that across the company. Einstein once said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." So let's rise above this level of consciousness and solve this problem. Thank you.